The man right here, the legend, Ric Flair, baby. Let's go.
I think Ric Flair is completely different than anybody else. Everybody knows Woo, and you still hear Woo at everything now.
Sure.
Wrestling events and everything. I think Ric Flair is so iconic that, unless you're living under a rock, you don't know who Ric Flair is.
Jameel Muhammad and Jeff Cardozo dive into the hobby, which is sports cards, trading cards, as well as all other collectibles, right now on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, live from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, coming to you from the Meldon Law Studios. Meldon Law, they won't back down, and we are backing down episode 7.
7.
Already. Getting after it, and 7 is relevant. We've got a great guest that has 7 relevant to that number, and you'll hear why I don't like the number 7 a little bit later. But RBICru7 is going to be a really fun thing to talk about. Jeff Cardozo, Jameel Muhammad coming at you as we get ready for the National. Jameel will be up there very, very shortly. So I know it is now that time of pricing cards, getting things ready, and just going about your business to take a whole bunch of stuff up to the Great North.
Yeah, it's gonna be in Cleveland this year. It's gonna be a different field than Chicago in the years past. Atlantic City, it's a very different venue, but the thing that always stands out is the hobby community. And so everything you want under the sun, the greatest show on earth is what we call it. It is a massive, massive show. And so we take a lot of inventory, but there's so many other things that go on, from promotions to grading to, hobby meetings and manufacturers to distributor dinners and all the things that go on, trade nights. It's so many moving parts that really, it starts on Monday and ends on Sunday. And my wife and I really don't get a chance to do much other than we don't get a chance to go downtown and go watch the Indians play or something, or the Guardians play. That is something that people do, and it's fun that Cleveland is such a sports town. But chaos is probably the word I would use to describe it.
So then when we do our first show after that, you might be sleeping through it because you'll just be ready to just crash for a couple of days.
I may just line up on the Spurrier table back here and sleep under the helmets and let you run the show. But it's exhausting, but at the same time, we prepare for that, and we have a great team. I'm so lucky the team we have. We have a team of 10 total that we're taking up. Wow. And so, from a business standpoint, and those people who think about the National on a bigger scale, you got 10 people, you got big overhead, and so making profit at this event, you got to work hard. Yeah. And so finding every kind of, niche to do that. But we have a great team, and we're looking forward to not just buying or not just selling cards, but buying and trading cards with people too.
Well, and it might be a sleepy time when we look at the world of sports around, because actually the day before and the day after the All-Star game, which was Tuesday for Major League Baseball, are the only 2 days all year where there is not one of the big 4 sports going on to watch television-wise. But, of course, you had the Home Run Derby, and I guess we always go back to now seeing that, because some people may have not even known some of the people in there. Certainly, there's those hot cards like the Gunnar Hendersons and the Bobby Witt Juniors and stuff like that. But when you have random guys that maybe a lot of people didn't know winning the Home Run Derby, what does that do to the card industry? And does all of a sudden, because he won the Home Run Derby, are they making cards, and now at the National they're having stuff? What's going on right now this time of year?
Yeah, so with Teoscar, I mean, he's a player that people know. He's hit really well this year. Yeah. But I would say 5 out of 10 casual baseball fans probably have no idea who that is or what team he plays for. And so what it does for someone like that is his first Bowman rookie autograph, his first rookie card, for rookie card autographs, that kind of stuff accentuates in value for the time being. I allude the Home Run Derby a lot to the dunk contest. Maybe the dunk contest in years prior, where Blake Griffin or somebody like that was in the dunk contest, and if they won or they did something big, their cards, you saw hype in their value. So I think with him, and Bohm, those guys were launching. There's a new setup to the Home Run Derby this year. I'm not sure what you feel about, how you think about it, but I always love watching the Home Run Derby and seeing the difference in these pitchers, like the guys they hire or whoever that is that pitches. Sometimes it's a pitching coach, sometimes it's a dad or an uncle, and so you guys got some guys out there throwing heat, some throwing curveballs on accidents, and I saw some of that last, at the Home Run Derby.
Yeah, and one dude's not even stepping. He's literally just
Right.
throwing it in there, not even taking a step. But I mean, he's the best in the business, and that's why people choose to go with guys like that. And not only here in the United States where we have the American version of baseball, and of course you have football, which will be coming up, and before we know it, college football starts in less than 50 days. You've got the NCAA game coming out, which I think a bunch of people, that's all they care about. I did see a really fun one, because we're in Gainesville, we do the show. We don't really like Georgia too much, and I saw a guy tweet out that was really funny, and he says, hey, I don't really know if I like this game. I'm trying to make a dynasty out of Georgia, and all it's done is tell me about the, how to get kids out of jail for the last 2 hours. So I can't even play the game. I'm trying to get my kids out of jail. So I think that's what brings all of this into it. Everybody having their rivalries in college football and just having fun with it.
Yeah, the fandom with something like that. What does that do for the college players and the cards that are coming up? You think about Drake Mays and Caleb Williams coming up from this video game franchise that it's everywhere on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and you just see everything about it. So there's an element to all this crossover, and I think when we're collecting and we're buying and selling cards, you just have to think about all those elements, whether it be a home run derby winner, the cover athlete of EA. I think it's Blake Corum this year, right? So these kinds of things all play into hype, which can be a driving force in cards. And one other hype guy right now for me, it's dear to my heart, Jeff, but the Euro Cup championships were just a few days ago, and England made it to the finals. Yeah. I have blood. My mom is English, and my mom, and so she yells at the TV, and she's one of those moms that she's not the soccer mom type. She's the English soccer mom, which is a whole other demographic. And watched the game with her, and it was a sad ending, but they lost 2-1. But what was really interesting to me is there's this young guy named Lamine Yamal. He was 16 years old at the beginning of the Cup, and he has been playing at a world-class standard, had goals in this game. He had an assist that put them up top, and it's wild to think about his cards right now. He's in Topps UEFA. There's a Topps Chrome UEFA coming out the week of the National, so next week. So we got Chrome Baseball this week, Chrome UEFA next week, which will have his true rookie card in, and he'll have a Superfractor auto, which will, I would imagine, be in the $50,000 to $100,000 range.
Wow.
Maybe even more, because the soccer community goes a little crazy. So it's interesting seeing just that, and then how it impacts the hobby and the soccer.
Well, and it impacts, I think, all these other sports too. I don't know if you saw the story, but you're watching Live Golf the other day, and they're in the final round, and Sergio Garcia got paired up with Brooks Koepka. So Sergio, of course, has got his rooting interest, and Koepka strolls out there in an England jersey. And they showed the video of him coming out, and Sergio's having this great time, and of course he gets the last laugh when it's all said and done. But I think that's fun. It does. Soccer certainly brings a lot of the community together. And what was fun for me, and I guess I wonder how now this impacts the card world. We talked about the NCAA football game coming out, but the Major League Baseball draft was this past week as well. So, I mean, all of a sudden, I'm sure Paul Skeen's cards are just ridiculous. He's starting the All-Star game. And so how quick now do we see those guys like the Travis Manzana or, of course, Jack Caglione and, all these guys that were drafted really hard? What's that process like to eventually get that first card?
So the big release that people, the first flocking to is Bowman. Okay. It's going to be the first flocking to for prospects. And so you're going to get the first Bowman card of some of these guys. And so to break it down really quick, Bowman can be very confusing for people. There are 3 major releases for Bowman. They are Bowman, which comes out typically in the spring, which we've already had this year for 24. There is Bowman Chrome, which comes out in the fall, so August. And then there is Bowman Draft, which comes out typically in December. Bowman Draft is always featuring USA draft players. It's usually featuring the first pick, and then they kind of scatter it after that. And then you look then to 2025, the cycle comes up around again, Bowman Chrome. So some of these guys will be filtered in Bowman Draft, some will be in Bowman, and some will be in Bowman Chrome. Bowman Chrome typically see a little bit more international flavor to it, but as you look for these cards, just know all these guys are going to have their cards soon. The 2023 Bowman Draft, which had Skeen's first auto, Wyatt's first auto, as many others, guys that are coming up in the minors too now, has just increased in value a ton.
Oh, sure.
We have one case left up in the shop, and I just put it away. I was like, you know what, let's just put that away because I think it's going to go up. And we sold out of all that stuff. Wow. So you'll see it, and if you catch the right classes, which I do think we're in a time right now where people are investing in wax, and they're buying boxes. We'll get into Topps Chrome here in a second, but buying boxes to hold because they believe in these guys for the long term.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, because I think that's what's fascinating. You always want to get to that point where, especially if you have your kid or something, you want to open those packs, and it's so exciting to do that. But there is an investment piece to all this other stuff. I don't know if you think about it at the time, but imagine if a couple of years ago, you held on to whatever box, and then this rookie guy is blown up, and just the mystique of, is it possible that that actually card is in there is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, 2018 is the greatest example, I think, with Acuna Ohtani. You have double, and you have other guys in there too, but this same box that comes out tomorrow in our shop in 2018 was $180, $150, which today is $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, depending on what iteration of the box you have. So thinking through those things, there is an investment side to this where 2018 wasn't 25 years ago, right? So if you had bought a sealed case or you had bought multiple boxes or whatever, that stuff just can be there. But on the flip side, some of it may go down.
Sure.
So how well do you know sports? That's why I think there's so many guys in this that are so competitive, because they all know everything, right? So that's when it comes to this class, this is going to be great. This is going to be a good long-term hold. And I think that's why I love the hobby so much.
Well, if you want to know the easiest way to get real-time price comps on wax, it is WaxStat. You got boxes, sealed products. You can get it right from your mobile phone or even your laptop. Save money and time to get the best deal on wax by visiting waxstat.com. And Jameel has mentioned a couple of times we've got some wax in front of us. And you said Ken Griffey Jr. earlier. He was actually at the Home Run Derby. They put him on the headphones, and he was talking. And Pete Alonso had the chance to tie him with 3, but Pete didn't do too well. So Griffey is still that guy, the best home run hitter ever. Always,
Griffey, right?
Yeah, has to flip the hat backwards. So maybe you should do that, because apparently one of these has some special Griffey in it.
Yeah, maybe when we start ripping, we'll flip the hat backwards. So it's so cool. This is Hobby Topps Chrome. This is Hobby Jumbo, which most people know, 1 autograph, 3 autographs. But then they've come out this year with something called Breakers Delight, or Breakers, kind of a smaller iteration. It's 1 pack with 2 autographs. So I have been talking to people about these legend autos they're putting in. Griffey is one of them, and it's his first Topps Chrome autograph. So people are losing their minds, right? They're losing their minds. But if you look at the checklist, from what I can tell and in looking at it, he only appears in the Breakers Delight product. So these are the little intricacies sometimes when people come into the shop that are so important. You could buy this box hunting Ken Griffey Jr. autograph and never have a chance at it. Whereas if you talk to somebody in the shop or someone knows, that's where you're going to want to go to get that stuff. So it's going to be really cool. He's going to have a superfractor. There's some images up, Topps put up this past week. Sandy Koufax has hard signed autographs. They look really pretty. He has a superfractor card, a 101. So I think it's going to be a great release, very anticipated. And on top of that, you got the rookies. You got Ellie, you got Wyatt, you got Jackson Churio, you got Everson, Merrill, you have Merrick. You have so many different kind of rookies in this product that it's going to drive that force as well, where I'm going to grade those cards. I want to put those cards away. So yeah, I think this is going to be a cool opportunity, and I thought maybe we open up some packs today.
Really? Okay.
If you want to do it, I have a box here, and I have our new card cam, as we're going to call it. We have our little card cam. So this is a Chrome 2024 hobby box here. Let's go ahead and open it up, and then I will open some packs here on camera, but Jeff also has to get some packs. So
all right,
Jeff,
so again, like if you're just buying 1 pack, you don't want to buy the whole box. Is there a certain method that you have? Do you have a certain pick that you found is better over the years?
So I'm right-handed. I was a right-handed hitter, and I'm right-handed, so I usually go right side.
Okay.
And like this is my pack always. I always like this one, right side bottom.
Wow.
But it doesn't mean really anything.
Okay.
We can think it does, and that's kind of the lure of cards. So I'll open this pack. Jeff's going to open up a pack, too. He's going to get one going, and we'll see what Topps Chrome looks like this year.
All right, I'll go right side, 3 down.
3 down. Okay. We'll have to figure that out. So we got a Jordan Blazovic, rookie card, Twins. Look at 2 rookie cards already. Johan Rojas for the Phillies. There's a good hitter.
Ooh.
Mr. Julio. And then right behind that, Pete Crow. I don't know about the Cubs, but, I mean, it is what it is.
He's legit, though.
He's good.
Very good center fielder.
So great. This is like an insert retro. Remember the old, 89, I think is? So they make retro Chrome. So there's a Pete Crow. Not numbered, but it's still a good little pack. 3 rookies in my pack.
Okay. So then on my side, we've got another rookie, Sal Frelick, who came up last year, was actually pretty good. Marcelo Liriano, Salvador Perez, and then another rookie, and Zach Remillard.
All right, we got to keep going. We got to do at least one more pack.
Okay.
Come on.
Got to do better.
Right
don't
side.
pick bottom right or
don't do bottom
3 down on the right.
You're not going to do well with it. Uh-oh. Look at that back card.
Uh-oh.
That's going to be cool. There, he's pretty good.
Yeah, Nolan Shanuel actually came to Gainesville last year for Florida Atlantic and then made the big leagues that same year. He hit 3 home runs in a game in Gainesville. So I got to broadcast him 3 homers. Yeah.
What college?
He went to Florida Atlantic.
Oh, FAU.
Yeah, good old FAU.
The Owls hoot hoot. Some Justin Martinez. Diamondbacks. Oh, there's a big name people love.
Yeah.
Some Yamamoto for the Dodgers. Rookie card. So obviously you can get this card in multiple versions, refractors and numbered stuff. There's autographs of him in this set, which will be really good.
So just to know, too, because you mentioned Bowman earlier, and I think sometimes we see the rookie card symbol on different things, but it's maybe not their, like, what does that mean when you see that rookie card symbol?
It's just synonymous with, like, that is their rookie card for the year, right?
Okay.
Where first Bowman, which would be like is more like their first draft card. So that's like their first true card, but then this is the rookie card.
Okay.
So, again, that wasn't a thing in 1950 and 1960, but now in 2024 we have it. Last card, here we go. Little Jason Dominguez strokes. Now, I'm not as familiar with some of the case hits, but this looks like it's a really cool insert. Jason Dominguez right there. There are some cards in here that are super valuable that are inserts that are not numbered. They would look something like this. This may be just a base insert. But again, it's got a rookie card symbol on it. So.
And Dominguez was huge, a couple of years ago? That
Massive.
was the big get in those Bowman boxes.
Yeah, he was a chase for sure.
All right, I got one more.
Let's see if we can help here Jeff out.
Is that All right, we've got Austin Wells, rookie card.
Ooh.
Trey Cabbage. Mike Yastrzemski, Vanderbilt. Of course, the grandson of
Carl.
Another pretty good Yastrzemski. And then Rafael Devers.
Ooh, that's cool. That's like that's an old school retro. They used to put these back in the 90s, so it's kind of a refractor card. So nice cards. What are your thoughts, Jeff,
cool.
on these?
Yeah, I mean, beautiful cards. And always fun. And I think the neat part is, I guess I don't look at the checklist, so you don't really know what's in there. You're not hunting for something specific, but some really cool pulls just in the 4 packs that we opened.
Yeah, good. It seems everyone likes to use the word loaded.
Yeah,
is the product loaded? And I think Chrome has a lot of oomph this year. So there you go. Topps Chrome 2024 baseball is here, and we have it in shop, but we also have it on set and. Jeff's pulling some fire. We'll have to open up some more off camera.
Sounds good. All right. Again, WaxStat, the easiest way to get real-time price comps on wax boxes, sealed products from your mobile phone or your laptop. Very easy. Just visit waxstat.com. They've got an app that makes it very, very simple to do a lot of different things. All right. Well, we mentioned the number 7 earlier, RBICru7, and the guy that started it all will join us next on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton, taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
This is Jameel, owner of the Meelypop shop, Gainesville's home for collectibles of all sorts, including every single type of sports cards, whether it be Panini, Topps, Leaf, Upper Deck. We have it. Come on in, get yourself a box, a pack, get yourself some supplies, get into our breaks, get your Pokemon, get your Yu-Gi-Oh! All the other different kinds of TCG products that we carry and shop are always fully in stock. You can find our stuff on our website as well, meelypops.com. That's another way you can interact with the store, or you can just come into the shop. We're located off 39th Avenue by I-75 behind Walgreens and Sonny's. Stop on by. We're open every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can check us out on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'd love to see you. Come on out to the shop, have some fun, be a part of the card community here in Gainesville, and always go Gators.
All right, we welcome you back to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Jeff and Jameel here with you, broadcasting from Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill here in Celebration Point. We always love segment 2 because we get to bring on some good-looking experts, some people that are going to drop a whole bunch of knowledge, and certainly with the National coming up, Jameel has found another gem for you.
Yeah, so I'm so excited for today. I mean, you guys can obviously see from the swag that I have. Just a quick backstory. When I got into being a card shop owner, when I got into this world of selling and buying cards and wax, I had very few people to talk to, and one of my guys, who's also a Cardinal fan, his shop is located literally in St. Louis, St. Peters, Missouri. I grew up in O'Fallon, Missouri. There's a gentleman named Ryan Bannister, and he had this shop called RBICru7, and I knew of it from the National. I knew it from other people, and he just really gave me options to talk to him at any time, text about wax prices, text about the market where we were at, text about things going on. I see him at all the events, and he's just really become a mentor and helped form what Meelypops is. And so what better to have him on today. So we're gonna bring up Ryan Bannister from RBICru7 Sports on the virtual section here. How you doing, sir?
Great, man. I appreciate all the kind words you said. I'll give you your $5 after we do this. So thank you.
I thought it was $20, man. I told you 20.
We're in the world of negotiating, so I guess we're going to have to negotiate this one. So thanks for having me on. This is awesome. This is an honor. I've known you've been doing this for a while, and I know you've had Andy on, so I appreciate the opportunity. Nice to meet you as well, Jeff.
Yep, you too, man.
So I see you're at the house right now. Usually Ryan is grinding at the store. This man is on top of things. So you're thinking, oh, he's just at home chilling. No, he's not. So I can imagine he's doing something prepping for the National. What are you doing at home right now? I think the people want to know.
Well, you nailed it. I am prepping for the National. This is the prep week, all week. John Yates, the sheriff, comes to town. He's here. We work day and night starting today through Thursday and then a little bit on Friday. So I'm at home. I'm out of my element so I can focus on getting things done. However, it's already 11:17 and I haven't priced a single card for me. Luckily, John has. I've already been doing other tasks today. So
yeah, it's a whole team that makes it together. But I want to know about the name. I'm a big baseball dork, and immediately when he said you were coming on, I saw RBI. So where does that come from? The RBICru7.
Yeah, it's a big question we get a lot of time. How did you come up with the name? So a real short, quick way of explaining it. Back in the day on the forums, I was RBI Sports Cards whenever I was on Backhead and Sports Card Forum, and Neil, my partner, was Drew Crew7. Okay. And when 07 rolled around, he's like, hey, there's this thing on YouTube called group breaking. People will pay to join in breaks. You get to rip the cards. Basically, I'm like, wait, so people are going to pay us to rip cards and we get to open for free and just ship the stuff? He's like, yeah. So we had to sit down and come up with a name. My favorite baseball player of all time is Kenny Lofton, who wore number 7. He was a big J.D. Drew fan, who also wore number 7 as the Cardinals. And we said, we'll take RBI from RBI Sports Cards Crew, from Drew Crew7, add the 7 on the end. There you go. The origin of RBICru7 was created in 2007 for YouTube that we never thought would be where we are today. And when we opened our shop in 2012, the biggest question was, do we change the name? Do we do something else? No, we stuck with it. We said, everybody knows this is this. We did, and I'm glad we stuck with RBICru7. So
I guess I'm the only one of the crew now of the 3 that had a homer hit off him by J.D. Drew.
Oh,
so how about that?
See that?
Oh, okay.
So that'll give me back flashbacks now. I don't know if I could do the interview anymore.
Jeff might have to remove himself from the interview today. Yeah. No, it's amazing just kind of seeing the growth. You mentioned breaks and YouTube, and I think you're one of your team on Instagram, by the way. Seeing you guys have really cornered the day breaks. So people at lunchtime breaking with these guys and coming on in, and so make sure if you do break, go check out these guys on Instagram. They kill it during breaks. You got Mr. Dave 101, who is one of my favorite. I guess I'll call him hobby celebrities. I call him Mr. Dave, Mr. 1 of 1. His name is Dave. And he's just a guy that they have. How old is Dave, Ryan?
Mid-60s, I think.
Wow.
He's in really good shape for himself. He golfs 5 days a week, too.
He's amazing and just ripping cards. So I love that you've incorporated the card shop aura right into your breaks and everything you do. So thinking about the National, you brought it up with pricing. You and your cohorts have made some art, is what I'll call it. You've come out with some promotional material for the National, and it really taps into what you got on your shirt there. Really taps into what you're one of the few things that you're passionate about, which is wrestling cards. But I know you love a lot of other stuff. So I wanted to maybe show this clip, Jeff. Let's watch this clip that they put on Instagram, and you got to explain some of this to us because it's pretty awesome. So we'll get this clip loaded up here.
Hello, trading card fans. Brandon Toll here, and we are in the shake of July, heading to the National this month in Cleveland. My guest at this time, come on in, MCWO champion, Hollywood, Ryan Bannister. Like my man sitting here, unless you're living under a rock, I am Hollywood Ryan Bannister. I am your world champion. I'm the leader of the NCWO, but more importantly, the NCWO world champion. We will be set up this year in Cleveland at booths 3,400 and 3,500 for the National Mania. You want to see the most amazing selection of wrestling cards amongst anything else 2 booths can provide. Come to 3,400 and 3,500. Did you say 3,400 and 3,500? Absolutely. Again, 3,400 and 3,500. Just don't forget, NCWOs is not for everybody. It's an elite membership, but don't worry. Anybody can come to our booths. Just remember, Johnny Yates, the sheriff, will be there checking your IDs. And we will see you this month at the IX Center in Cleveland.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the NCWO.
NCWO. We got Ryan as Hollywood Hogan, or Hollywood Ryan, I guess you call it. So first off, we got to know. Tell a story about the NCWO and where that all came from, and then also, which is a world that a lot of people don't know about, and you have really done an amazing job with it. But wrestling cards, and you would think like, oh, no, it's a big deal. So I'd love for you to just tell people just where you're at and all that.
Yeah, so the NCWO, all this credit goes to Neil. Neil's ideas are all these promos we're cutting, all the designs. Obviously, you can see the shirt here. So we just got these in yesterday. These are going to be free at our booth until they're gone. So that's the front, and then there's the back of it. And this is all his doing. All I do is approve it and say, okay, that's fine. It looks good. Here's the credit card, buy him. And, he's really the brains behind the operation. So he came up to me last year before National. He says, I got this idea about wrestling, and he knows he's a big wrestling guy as well. So he told me about it, and I'm like, this sounds awesome. So we were obviously coming up with the NCWO name. We wanted to be some type of faction. We ran with it, and it was a big hit going into last year's National. At first, he was going to do a different type of thing this year, more musical related to Cleveland. And I said, no, squash that. Let's stick on the same thing. Let's do this NCWO thing once a year at National. Let's build it up. And then he has had these scripts that you've seen that video, which is one of 3 videos now we've launched. We have 2 or 3 more left, from my understanding. We got to cut promos on. So it's just creative minds behind it, but it goes with how big of a wrestling fans we are, how big we are in the wrestling community as far as cards goes. And we'll talk a little bit about the main event as this goes on, but we're passionate about it. We love it. We love this hobby, but more importantly, I've really found what it's like to collect again within wrestling cards, and really collecting with my kids and having a lot of fun with them. So it's taken me back to my grassroots when I used to collect Kenny Lofton cards of everything. I'm now collecting Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and my son collects Bray Wyatt. So it's just kind of, it's been really fun. It's really brought back what the hobby is about to me, and the amount of people I've met in the wrestling community and how amazing they are. It's like no other card community, in my opinion. They're looking out for one another. It's more about getting the right card to the right collector versus gouging somebody and being overcharged or trying to take advantage of somebody. So.
Well, and just like the nostalgia part, as you're sitting there talking about it, 25, 30 years ago, I'm on the summer and hanging out with my grandparents, and they were so into wrestling, which was really weird. But I would watch, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Ultimate Warrior and, all these people, and, it was fun back then. So it reminds me of, I think back in the day, so I'd love to even look into some of that stuff. But then I wonder even now, because Jameel and I have talked a lot about, if guys get hurt or Luka doesn't do well in the finals, so the cards might go down a little bit. I wonder even maybe now from a wrestling standpoint, here locally in Gainesville, Ric Flair's kid graduated from the University of Florida. He had a party at a local restaurant here. Things got a little out of control. He might have drunk a little too much adult
not
beverages.
Ric Flair. Not Ric Flair.
But just having a good time, and then, kind of went off on one of the workers there. But it made like this national news, I think. I'm sure you even heard about it up there. So does even then, if Ric Flair's not relevant in the world, does that maybe increase his cards now going to national? Because people now, oh my gosh, I never knew Ric Flair, but he set this scene or something.
I think Ric Flair is completely different than anybody else. Everybody knows Woo, and you still hear Woo at everything now,
Sure.
Wrestling events and everything. I think Ric Flair is so iconic that, unless you're living under a rock, you don't know who Ric Flair is. Obviously, when that made national news, did not look good for Ric Flair. I get everybody has their bad days, but we all know Ric Flair likes to enjoy his man sodas, I like to call it. But at the end of the day, it does make, put Ric Flair back in the limelight for a minute. However, he is appearing at things. He's doing signings all the time. His daughter, Charlotte Flair, is a big time wrestler who probably will end up beating his championship record once all said and done, which I think is awesome to see his daughter do that. So, but Ric Flair is just, he's iconic like Hogan. I mean, you kind of know who they are. It's not somebody like you said, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know, you bring that up, it's like, who's thinking of Hacksaw Jim Duggan right now? Ric Flair always out there, especially on social media, one way, shape, or form. So I still think they stay relevant in that nature.
Okay.
The restaurant was a pizza place, so if you get him to sign a pizza box, it could be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be legit.
Piece of memorabilia there. Yeah, and then slam it over someone's head, right? That's the way to go. I'm watching these videos, and I've gone through, and for those of you guys who are catching the podcast, go check out RBICru7's Instagram. They got all these promotional videos. They got all the guys in the shop involved with all these videos, and it makes me think a lot of how your team operates. You know, the people you have in and out, you work with day in and day out. Ryan, how important is it to have like a team that's trustworthy, that can work together, and how essential is it in this card business?
First off, the word that comes to mind is blessed. I'm very blessed to have the team that we have, the family that we have there. And for the most part, it's family or friends who work within our shop. Every now and then we branch out and hire a really good customer who, you know, is looking for an opportunity. And I think that's the biggest thing, like you said, is trust more than anything. And we have, I think, a phenomenal trust. I think we have a phenomenal team whose best interest is RBICru7, the business, not Ryan Bannister, RBICru7. They're passionate about the hobby. They want to be there. They show up to work. I mean, it is rare for somebody to call in sick at work. I mean, they don't treat it like this is a job. They treat it like this is my career. I want to be here. We take very good care of them year round. And, you know, they're an integral part of the operation, how we run in store and online, may it be break, shipping orders, or just be in shop, people coming in to, you know, ask questions. We have everybody knowledgeable in almost every category for the most part that can answer any question about anything, may it be products, singles. You know, we're just, you know, we're not hiring people off the street. We don't ever go out there. We're hiring, you know, you'll never see that with us because we try to hire within, may it be, like I said, family, friends, or a really good customer. And we're always looking for those opportunities to hire more people that we feel is perfect for our RBICru7 family, whose best interest is RBICru7 and the hobby, which is just hard to find. And Jameel, I know you've dealt with things for years, and it's really hard to find people you know and trust. And you know, people come and go, but we've done a really good job of almost keeping everybody around. Again, every now and then we lose somebody, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good goodbye. So
that word family, you said, I think that's just that sums it up.
Well, and I think, you know, to hear that, it's awesome because, you know, that's kind of how, you know, little kids coming in Jameel's shop here in town. And, you know, I think in digging around some of your stuff too, and when I looked at the RBI stuff, you know, I always saw that hashtag support your LCS. And, you know, you've got that local card shop feel. Like, why is that important? Because I know there's so many things that are now like this and nationwide and everything else. But it is really cool to just kind of walk in there and somebody and just see a smiling face and somebody you can trust, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. No, I think it's key that, you know, obviously you can go online, you can click a button, buy something, but you're not going to get that customer service. You're not going to get that knowledge. You're not going to get that time with that person you're talking to within a shop. You can go to your Walmarts, your Targets, you can buy it, but you're not going to interact. I think that's key. And I see Jameel doing a great job at his shop is hosting these events, getting people engaged, you know, gaming, trade nights. You know, people want a place to go. They want a place to hang out and share a hobby that they love together. And you can't just get that by going online and buying it or sitting at Target or Walmart. You know, you're walking into our store, you have some type of passion for this hobby in one way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be a sport. It could be a non-sport. It could be Pokemon. It could be you collect singles, you collect this. But everybody's there for the same reasons. And we're just seeing the continued growth of people. You know, our transactions continue to rise every week in store. We're growing, and we've been open for almost 13 years now, and we continue to grow, which is amazing to see at the trajectory level. But again, support your LCS is something that Neil really got behind years ago. I was all for it. Now they're trying to call us all hobby shops instead of card shops. So it kind of puts a hamper on the support your LCS. But again, I think it's, you know, it's very essential for the growth of this hobby is to have really good hobby shops across the nation and across the world where people can go in and be educated, not just taken advantage of, not just clicking a button to buy something, be very educated in this hobby, because it can overtake you really quick and you can, you know, really dive in head first. But there's people that are like, hey, let me suggest some things for you. And I think that's what's key. And great hobby shops across this nation, like Jameel has here, and Indie Card Exchange and Sports Card Junction. And I could go on all day of all these great hobby shops that we all are learning from one another. We all work together. We're not working against each other. It's working together to make this a better hobby. And I think that is essential. And I think that's key why hobby shops need to be around. I think that's what's making this hobby a stronger hobby.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what comes to mind, is just working together from one another and learning from each other. But then also, at the National, we're going to have this area. When we signed up for the National and the chaos that it was last year, we said, let's all try and be together. Let's try and be somewhat close together. So not only can we market it, but really create an area of the National where you're going to find local card shops that do it the right way, like you said. And all those people you mentioned, plus more, will be there. We'll put the graphic up on the screen so you can see this kind of hot spot / hot corner that we have for the National. But I'm excited, man, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I just thinking about what you said, when people hear your growth and they hear about the expansion of RBICru7, where you've come, and they immediately think, oh, wow, this is a lucrative business. Oh, wow, this is something I need to get into. This is something I've had so many people, Jeff, come to the shop and like, hey, how do I open a shop? I'm going to open up a shop soon. I want you to be brutally honest here, Ryan. For someone who's coming into this field in terms of opening a shop or starting a breaking operation or whatever it might be, what advice would you tell somebody who's thinking about making that next step to make this their profession, their career?
First off, you have to have as much capital on hand. When we opened our shop in 2012, true story, borrowed $6,000 from my best friend. The day we opened up, I had $1,200 left in the bank account. And it was a struggle for years. Back then, you could get a lot more money for $6,000 than you can these days in the hobby. But having as much capital, but what they don't realize is allocations. You just can't open your doors and have product. You're going to have to go through distributors. You can't just get direct overnight. It takes so much time to get direct. I know Topps is doing a better part now to get people more direct accounts, but Panini is years process. Leaf is really good about getting you in there, but people don't realize you just can't open your doors and it's going to be a success overnight. There's social media now that's a lot bigger and gets the word out a lot better. But again, it's a struggle. We were praying for days that people walk in the shop. Now we're blessed that people walk in nonstop. And Jameel, when you first opened up, you're going to continue to grow, but it's just not an overnight sensation. It takes a lot of hours, effort, energy on everybody's end. I opened my shop before I had kids. I could not have done it by having kids. I'll tell you that much, because I was pulling 80, 100-hour weeks back then, working nonstop. So be prepared if you're going to open up. You're going to work more. You're never going to work 40 hours again in your life. You're going to work a lot more. You work around the clock. It is very stressful. You need to have a lot of capital. You need to get in with all distributors, all manufacturers as fast as you can to set yourself up, because you got to remember, they're going to probably charge you what retail is. You're not going to make much margin compared to competing online. So therefore you might be a little higher on your stuff to begin with. So.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Every time we get a guest on, I'm always intrigued about the cool things that they touch or the cards they get, and some of these special things. And Jameel said you got like a Grail card, and I was watching Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade a couple of weeks ago, so I'm thinking like the Holy Grail is like that's what it is. But apparently it's like a LeBron card that's pretty legit. Tell me about that.
So it is my dream card. I never thought I'd own it because I have a family, and that's why I never thought I'd own it. It's the 2003, 2004 LeBron James Exquisite RPA. It's a true RPA. I obtained it from my really good friend, Mike Cancel AMC Sports Cards, almost 2 years ago. And the best part is it was all trade. There was no cash involved. It was a complete trade. It was a massive trade, and it is sitting in another state right now in a safe. I've held it once, but I do have a picture of my wife holding the card on my nightstand. She got it for me for Christmas one year. So my wife is holding my dream card on my nightstand every night I see it. It was a dream card. Again, financially, it's a very expensive card. I would never pay the type of money to obtain it, but I was lucky for the opportunity to trade for it. It's awesome to know that I own it. And after that, I think that's really got me going into wrestling, is because I'm a big LeBron collector. I've got the Holy Grail, Holy Grails. What else do I need in LeBron now? So I think it's been fun to go into the wrestling part. So
Yeah, there's only 99 of that card that he's talking about. Then there's 23 version as well. That's a gold version, which is very expensive, but it's it's the quintessential LeBron card. And people just call it the RPA. I mean, that's literally what they say, the 03, 04 RPA. They don't even say his name because they know how wild it is. But man, when you got that, another thing I just brings flashbacks to when you got it, how excited I know like Andy and I and just guys in the card world were for you that you got that card because we knew how much it meant to you. And you think about that camaraderie, it's at all levels. It's not just in the shop, it's amongst the card shop owners, and you are one of the true collectors, out there as a shop owner. So it's good to see, man. It's good to see that when I don't see a lot of guys collecting as much anymore. But yeah, I we could talk with Ryan for hours. I mean, the amount of cards this man has brought in his shop, the amount of collections this guy buys. We could do a whole segment in the future maybe just on how to buy cards. Like you are always bringing in amazing inventory for your shop. You are always bringing in the wax. And again, RBICru7.com is one of the best places to buy wax. Like it is across the world. I mean, I don't know how to explain that other than he has some of the best prices, like bar none. And so when people come to me and tell me how much they spend on boxes, I'm like, if you didn't buy it from our shop, why didn't you buy it from Ryan's shop? You know what I mean? Like it's a no-brainer. So awesome work in what you do. I put together a little segment here. We did it with Andy. We're gonna do it with some other guests in the future. It's our Titan MRI rapid fire Meely segment. And so what we're gonna do, Ryan, is I made these questions. Their answers are supposed to be 20 seconds or less. So first thing that pops in your mind. And I made it specific to the National. So this should be kind of fun here. Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
All right, man. Let's have some fun with this. All right, so here is the Titan MRI rapid fire questions with Jameel for Ryan Bannister from RBICru7 Sports Cards. All right, first question. Silver packs, tops, Panini, or Leaf?
Let's go Panini because you got Victor
Wembanyama this year. All right, trade nights or distributor dinners?
For me, now at my age, distributor dinner. Trade nights after doing the show all day is exhausting, and I enjoy distributor dinners and relaxing, just talking to people that I want to see. Trade nights are awesome, but just too much for me.
You and Tim would get very along. Tim hates trade nights, so he loves those dinners.
I don't hate trade nights. I just don't have the energy anymore to do them after doing a national all day. So
it is arduous for sure. PSA 10 modern card or a raw vintage centered card?
Raw vintage center.
There we go. How about this? The sneak peek, which is Wednesday evening, or the Saturday midday?
Meaning, just the best day to go?
Just in general, what are your thoughts on this? I mean,
I think the sneak peek's key to get in. I think it's also not as chaos on that day. Saturday gets to be a lot more chaos. So I say sneak peek definitely gets you in the door first and try to grab anything you can. That's what I would say.
You get early eyes on it, right? So yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Prism silver or chrome refractor?
Chrome refractor, not even close.
One tip Ryan Bannister would give someone going for their first time to the National.
Be prepared. You're going to be overwhelmed. Take it one by one, but if you see something that's remotely close to what you're willing to pay, buy it, because the chances are you're going to go back, it's going to be gone. But just be prepared. It's overwhelming.
I can't tell you how many times people told me that. Oh, I went back to buy it. It was gone. It's like, I bought it the first time.
We should keep a tally how many times we hear about this year's National and see who wins. Because
let's do it.
We're going to hear a bunch of it. Yeah, let's do it.
And at our own booths, too. Yeah, at our own booths, the cards that people are like, oh, yeah, exactly. All right, I think we'll get that for sure. All right, next one. If you gave 100 BGS 9.5 gem mints, let's say they're true mints or true mint gems or better, what percentage do you think would cross the PSA 10?
35.
35. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. All right, I'll just leave this open-ended for you. Deodorant or breath mint?
Yeah, deodorant. Breath mint, you could step away from somebody and probably not smell it, but deodorant, you could be kind of far away and still smell somebody if they don't take care of their hygiene. So,
hashtag do better hobby.
Yes.
Make sure you wear your deodorant. Okay, low ball offer or someone trying to sell you a damaged card?
I probably would rather have somebody trying to sell me a damaged card by disclosing it, but lowball offers usually don't make me happy. So, and I know we do a lot of work on our pricing, so I'm a lot more laid back about a damaged card than I would if somebody completely lowballs me.
Nice. Last one here. Could be any year for you, Ryan, but what is your favorite memory of the National?
Oh boy, probably okay. The 2014 National in Cleveland, when we got to do trade nights in our hotel. We Sports Card Direct rented out this little room in our hotel for like 4 nights, and every night this trade night got bigger. Word got out. This is before trade nights were a thing, and this is well before CCT was doing trade nights, and it was just awesome every night doing that after the show, hanging out with everybody. Again, that was 10 years ago. I had 30 back then, 40 now. A lot more strength and energy, was able to do the show all day and do the trade nights. But I would say that was probably my favorite part, was what the hobby was about. And I think it was just cool to have those moments with friends.
Yeah, those organic moments at the National are great. And just think back to the first times you did it. So, well, you survived your Titan MRI Meely rapid fire questions, and so thank you for that. There's some insight there in the National. I can't wait to share some space with you next week. It's next week, right? Yeah, next week we are going to be. It's going to be chaotic when we call it the hot corner or the hot spot of the show. When you walk in, I think you just go hang a left, and then I think you'll be into the card shop section with all of us. But let people know how they can follow you, but more importantly, about the trade night that you are involved with this year at the National, which is super exciting. And everybody who's listening should, if you're going to the National, please make sure you hop onto this trade night that Ryan's about to tell you about.
Yeah, so the National is doing these massive trade nights, I believe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday within the venue. It's a massive area, but they're going to be kind of sectioned off. We are one of the co-sponsors with Sports Card Junction for the main event trade night, which is the wrestling trade night. It's on Friday. Only trade night I'm going to this week because we're a sponsor, and I'll probably go for a couple hours. But Adam Gelman is going to be Gelman, big Bakeless collector. He's really got behind us last year, and we've been kind of with him side by side. But he's really taken lead on this and done a phenomenal job. So we will be there on that Friday night. It'll be all wrestling cards. You can trade with anybody there. You can go just hang out and talk wrestling. But I understand there's going to be other trade nights like F1 and maybe UFC within the same area, and it's just going to be kind of sectioned off. But for the most part, it's going to be the big wrestling trade night. They started one last year, went over well. This year it's going to expand even bigger. I think there's 350 goodie bags that they're giving out to the first 350 people there, that there's going to be chances, some prizes inside to win some product, from my understanding. I think Panini's on board to do some donating. I think CSG grading is a part of this as well, but we're excited for it. We're passionate about it. I'm skipping one of my distributor dinners to be there at this one, and I'm excited for this trade night, but I don't know how long I'll be able to stay behind, but I'm going to just go there and not bring a card. I'm just going to talk wrestling with everybody, because we're going to have all the wrestling cards, all the cards in our booth, which we've got, I think I was telling you before, Jameel, 22 booths or 22 cases full of cards in our booth. So we're excited for that. But again, main event Friday night, National Wrestling Trade Night, RBICru7 Sports Card Junction combined to go promote this.
Well, RBICru7 keeps expanding. You might have 22 boots in a few years. So
I hope not. That's a lot of cards in price.
But, man, we appreciate the time. Nationals here. Make sure you eat your Wheaties, get your rest. And I can't wait to give you a big hug up in Cleveland, Ohio. Joakim Noah's favorite place to go. Yeah,
there you go.
Well, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, so great stuff right there. And I think the community aspect, and it's just so cool to hear how everybody works together. And it's not like this rivalry and you're fighting and doing all these other things. To be able to do that and work alongside and be happy for somebody who gets a really cool card. It's because I'm sure that, Ryan will help you if you wanted something like a Salma Hayek card.
Your Salma Hayek PC.
You get something really cool for all that stuff. But appreciate Ryan coming on. We'll take a break. We'll come back and keep it going here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Well, welcome back. Segment 3 of the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Jeff and Jameel still hanging out. And again, appreciate Titan MRI for coming aboard. That quick fire questions are always fire. It's always fun because you have that quick response. Got to figure out what is the best of the best. And we'll do that through all of our interviews. And appreciate you finding the best of the best to come on.
Yeah, Ryan Bannister. I mean, just creme de la creme when it comes to card shop owners. And we didn't even mention it, but he has his own podcast. So make sure you guys go check out the RBICru7 podcast. And that's just kind of who he is. He's always about the hobby. He's always about promoting just growth. And his shop, man, has just taken off. And I love it because right in the loo right there, So really cool reminiscing with him about things. We have a lot coming up with the National, but this past weekend, Jeff, I had a chance to go back. I mentioned earlier about seeing my mom watching the soccer game with her. But where I'm from is Rockledge, Florida. It's just a small town, kind of by Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral, the Space Coast, 321, Countdown County is what they call it. So we had a card show there.
Oh, really?
And I had a chance to go back, and it was really cool. Like usually you go to shows, nobody knows who you are, but I had mentioned the guy, and I told him I was, and he made a big deal, gave me a free pass to get in, and told all the dealers, and I made all sorts of deals with people buying stuff for the National, and it was really cool to be back in your hometown and to see the hobby, because I've been in Gainesville for the last 20 years, so to go back to Central Florida and then to see how just the hobby has grown in there, and there was a ton of sports card dealers, and there's a ton of non-sports, and then there's a ton of Pokemon dealers, so card shows have really become this amoeba of everything, and I love the fact that that's where we're at now. We got to get you out to some of these shows.
Yeah,
Jeff.
no, would love to. And if you love our podcast, you can listen and pass it on to many different people. You've got 39 different platforms where you can find us. Of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Overcast, all of those. And then check us out. You might want to close your eyes if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter Live. We're not the best looking dudes. Well, at least one of us are
this
not.
Guy over here.
But so many ways to do that. And I think that's been fun to see it grow. And again, the advertisers and stuff, people that want to be a part of this are. It's becoming a really fun deal, and in education, I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We listen to Ryan talk about the local card shops and the importance of all that other stuff. And I thought during that interview when he said if you're going to the National, or heck, it's probably even if you're local, if you see that card or that item you want, you might want to get it, because there's a lot of really special things out there, very unique things, and you might think, well, I'll wait, but. Sometimes you don't have time to wait, right?
Yeah, these more so than ever, when you are attending a show or you are even in a card shop, if there is something that's priced right or priced below what it's selling for, it typically is going to sell. And so I always tell people, have your goals, know what you want to know what you want to buy, and then when you see it, don't wait, because especially the National, there's so much money. I mean, we're not talking about millions here, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. We're talking about billions of dollars that is going to be spent, that's on the show floor, and it's just this marketplace. So it is speed. A lot of times, when I was early grinding, early days, I would go to these card shows when they opened, because I wanted to buy tables out or buy big collections people when they first put their stuff out. So that's why the Wednesday, Ryan mentioned it, in the interview, that Wednesday, the sneak peek is so important. It's the fresh, it's the first stuff, and that's where all the true collectors come out, to grab their stuff. But it's here, man. It's next week. We're gonna do a special next week. We're going to have videos on the National. So it'll be kind of a replacement of this podcast. I will not be able to do a live feed on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There'll be no day for me to really record it. So we're going to put some promo stuff out, which I think will be really cool, that just talks about buying and selling, prepping for the National, just tips and tricks, how to handle yourself when you go. So if you are going, next week's podcast will have a lot of information on it.
Well, great stuff. And if you want to comment about anything that we're doing, you've got a chance to win something special. Our July giveaway is 2 different cleats from Olympian, and hopefully gold medalist has already got a silver out there in the 110 hurdles. Grant Holloway has signed a couple of cleats, and all you have to do is go on there, make a comment, and sell what you like, what you don't like, what you want to learn. Some of these things that are going on with us here on the podcast, and somebody's going to be smiling pretty sweet. Hopefully Grant will be doing that when he wins gold.
Yeah, we have a shoe for a cleat or a spike, they call it, right? A spike for each, Facebook and YouTube. And I think what we had said was just your favorite Gator Olympian was which we wanted to hear in the chat. So seen some comments from last week. This goes for all the episodes for the month of July, and then we will do a randomization at the end to give those away. So we want to do something fun for you guys out there. I think it's important that the shops and really what we stand for, we're putting stuff out there for you, giving you guys value. value. And hopefully you guys are listening. Share this with people, and we're excited to just keep growing it.
Well, and speaking of growing, do people have the ability to come into your local shop, whether it's here or up in South Carolina, and say, hey, I'd like for you to look for X card or look for this, and then do you kind of have like a shopping list that you're maybe trying to help people with as you go up there?
Yeah, there's people that will ask me. I have definitely people text me, look for this, look for that. I bought many cards for people that are specific collectors of one guy, high end stuff, low end stuff. Our team, I can't remember everybody's request, so our team that goes up, they also are, know the customers, so they're looking for stuff as well. We're usually texting people on the fly, and people walk up to our booth, and if you don't buy it there within a few moments of them offering it to you, most people are going to move on. So you have to kind of have that system set in place. But we do, and we love the fact that there are people who come to us to obtain stuff for their collection. So we see a lot. There's a lot of crazy stuff. My favorite card last year was the I think a PSA 10 Rocky, a Sylvester Stallone, but Topps put out a Rocky set, and I've never seen the card ever, and showed it to so many people. Wound up doing a deal for it, but then I wound up trading it towards a Kobe Bryant exquisite limited logos card, which is similar along to what we talked about with Ryan with the LeBron. Not that high of value, but so it was one of these things where there's a card you really wanted, but then there's another card you really want. So your eyes get big at the National.
They certainly do. Well, I know it's going to be a big deal for you, and get to bring up a whole bunch of your staff and have a really enjoyable time. I know it's stressful and a bunch of things going on, but you'll have fun. And one of these years, I'll get up there as I learn more and more about the hobby. But yeah, have a great time.
Thanks, man.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll have to keep an eye out for another PC item for Jeff while I'm up there. We'll see maybe some JD Drew autographed.
Bad flashbacks. JD Drew,
super fractals.
JD Drew and Pat Burrell back in the day got me good, but still two of the greatest college players ever, and for what they did, and obviously then JD didn't want to go where he was originally drafted, and ended up going to your Cardinals, and had a few great years. I watched the summer of '98 from McGuire and Sosa, and JD Drew was on that team.
Oh, that's right.
Because McGuire hit one of the homers, and Drew comes out and gives him high fives. So. That was a
fun season. Him and Sosa, man, that was a fun season.
Yeah.
The Bond season was a little odd after. I mean, it was just too close to happening, right?
Sure.
But that was definitely a fun season with it was always about Maris, and then it became 70 home runs. So it was like all happened so quick. But baseball, man.
That is what it's all about. All right, we appreciate you tuning in yet again. Episode 7 of the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Tell your friends that Jeff and Jameel are kind of cool, and it's something worth watching.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at noon.